and welcome to the Heartbeat of Holliston, where we bring you the people and stories that make Holliston a great town. Spring is finally here, and on this show you'll meet a local author who's written a garden travel guide and hear what's happening at Pinecrest Golf Course.
And we feature the annual St. Patrick's Day Irish breakfast and roast, the community farm egg hunt, and a segment on the unique fashions by Hogwash and Rhinestones. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Tonight's guest is Jana Milbocker. She's an avid gardener, a garden designer, and lecturer. She has written a travel guide for gardeners titled The Garden Tourist, in which she describes 120 destination gardens in the Northeast and how to visit them. Welcome, Jana.
Hi, it's Jana.
We'll get that right somehow. Yeah. Well, so you've been all over the place with this book.
Yes.
And what inspired you to write this? Hold it up for us, please.
Sure. It's so it's 120. It's really a travel guide, and it's 120 gardens and specialty nurseries. And I guess I was inspired originally just to visit gardens when I started gardening myself, and that was about 25 years ago when I first moved to town.
Oh.
And I was a novice, and my garden was really a blank slate. There were really no formal gardens there at all. And so I started visiting gardens to get ideas. And I found that, by visiting public gardens, you can just learn a lot about plants and about gardening techniques.
Mm-hmm. So how long did it take you to write this book? It was...
Well, I've been visiting gardens for many years, so that kind of gave me a head start. And I had actually developed a lecture on this topic about 5 years ago. But then when I finally decided to convert that into a book, I spent about a year and a half of really working very diligently on it.
And you got some great photos of all of the gardens as well. Did you take those?
I took about 95% of the photos in the book. So.
And then you put the book together yourself?
I did, yeah. I self-published it. I'm trained as a graphic designer, so I was able to do the layout and the design of the book as well.
When did the book come out?
In December.
Oh.
So it's still fairly new. This will be its first season in use.
Have you been on tour with it?
I have. I've been, I've had
Right.
book signings in several different states: New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
So I've been traveling a bit still. Yeah.
And is that like what's been the reaction to the book?
I think people have. I've had a great reaction to it because there really isn't anything like this out there, and although the internet exists and there's a lot of good information there, people like the fact that they can have a guide that they can take along in the car with them. I set it up so that it's divided by state, and at the beginning of each chapter you have an overview of the state with a map and some suggested itineraries and even places that I recommend to go to lunch in between the gardens. So
tell us which states you covered.
So it's all of New England, from Maine down, and then New Jersey, Philadelphia area, and then the Hudson River Valley of New York.
Is it technical at all? Do you explain like what kind of flowers grow best in what environments, that kind of thing as well?
Well, there's I talk about the gardens and about the plants, and I also try to give a little bit of a historical perspective. Particularly, many of these are historic gardens, and even the ones that are not, I try to really talk about how the garden came to be and a little bit about its founder, because I feel that really gives you a really much better understanding of what you're looking at and an appreciation of it.
Yeah, I found it to be really interesting because I liked history, and so many of these gardens were started by people that were either famous or not even famous, but they had a real commitment to gardening.
Yes, a passion.
Yeah.
They had a passion, and sometimes it was just for a particular plant. And so that, to me, that makes it really exciting to know that. And I've actually had a chance to meet some of the people that have either been working at the garden for a very long time or began the garden or nursery, and that made it exciting for me.
That's really neat to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so why visit a public garden like this if you're just a hobby gardener or just even a regular person? Why do people visit these gardens?
I think people like to visit gardens because they're places of beauty, they're places of relaxation and tranquility, and it just I think it's just they just appreciate the smells, the beautiful flowers that they get to see, and it's a wonderful place to go with a friend and spend some quiet time with a friend as well. So I have found actually that I've gone to visit many of these gardens with friends, and some of them were not really gardeners, but they really enjoyed it. And they volunteered to come again to the next garden. So you don't have to be a gardener or an active gardener to enjoy the book.
Can any of these be appreciated, like in the wintertime?
Some of them are. I found, for instance, some of our local gardens, like Tower Hill or Elm Bank, many of their plantings are designed so that they can be appreciated in the winter. They have beautiful conifers or shrubs with berries. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Where can you buy your book in Holliston?
It's available at Fisk's, and it's available at Coffee Haven.
Oh, great.
And online on my website.
And that's
enchantedgardensdesign.com.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a business as well, right?
Yes.
And what is that?
It's a garden design and installation business.
Oh,
so,
wow. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
you're covering all the bases. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
it's something I'm passionate about.
I can tell.
And so I enjoy gardening. I enjoy helping other people with their gardens, and hopefully inspiring people to go out and visit gardens for themselves.
That's great.
I was totally inspired, so I've been giving that book as a gift too to people.
Oh, terrific!
Yeah, it's a great gift.
I'm hoping, with Mother's Day around the corner, it's certainly something that I think a lot of mothers would appreciate.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
So get to Fisk's and buy the book.
Thanks very much for coming to visit.
Thank you.
Again, for more information, please visit Jana's website, www.enchantedgardensdesign.com. This book inspires us to visit gardens and to be outdoors. It is a wonderful gift for gardeners or anyone who likes to travel.
Although it was chilly, the sun came out at the Community Farm's annual egg hunt. Let's check out the good time.
Hi, this is Ann Jay for the Heartbeat of Holliston. I'm here today at the Holliston Community Farm and Nature Preserve on Rogers Road, one of Holliston's hidden gems. It's a beautiful, sunny, little bit chilly day for the annual Easter egg hunt. Let's see if we can catch up with the Easter Bunny and some of the local children. Please tell us a little bit about the Holliston Community Farm and Nature Preserve.
Yes, so the farm was started just about 2 years ago. It was land that was acquired by the town for the community. It was a farm a long time ago. It was not functioning as a farm for some time. So what we have done is try to rehabilitate the farm. So a lot of tilling, as you can see, planting cover crops for about 3-4 seasons right now to get the soil to the fertility level that we needed. This is a community asset, so we'd like to have events like the one we did today, the Easter egg hunt for the community.
And now we're here with
Ashok,
Winnie, and Krish.
And where did you guys come from today?
Medway.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Yes. Krish, can you show us what Easter eggs you got today?
Purple.
Purple. That's right. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Yes. I'm so glad. Well, we're so happy to have you guys here. Thanks so much. Okay, bye. Well, this has been a very fun and successful Easter egg hunt at the Holliston Community Farm. For the Heartbeat of Holliston, this is Ann Jay.
This will be a big year for the community farm. They're partnering with the Downtown Marigold Project to build a greenhouse that will be used to grow plants, to beautify our town, and also as an educational resource.
Holliston welcomed winter at the annual Outpost Farm Winterfest. Although there was no snow, families enjoyed the farm activities that Outpost is always good at providing.
We're at Outpost Farm today for their 3rd annual Winterfest 2018, and there are lots of activities going on here today, and the kids seems like they're having a great time. I have with me Josh Santoro, who's been a regular here for 8 years, right, Josh?
That's very correct. Since 2010, it has been a true honor to work here and a very fun time. It's the 3rd year we're doing our Winterfest, and our proceeds are going directly to the Friends of the Holliston Rail Trail. And last year we raised around $620, and this year we hope to surpass that.
It looks like you have a lot of things going on here today, and a lot of fun is happening with the kids that are around. You want to tell us some of the activities that you have set up?
Sure, every year we try to have some sort of wintry activities going on. I mean, this year the weather, we didn't get the weather that necessarily we wanted to, but we still managed to get an ice castle up there. We got s'mores, we have cornhole, touch-a-truck, plenty of tractors here, big rigs, machines, plows. So it's very cool. The kids can run around, they can play with that stuff. You know, you see the kids over there driving, playing. So it's very fun. I mean, you know, we try to do as many things as possible to keep it, you know, not the same as Farm Day, because we definitely want to give people a different experience on Winterfest.
Brian, I understand you're here to be the honored tractor driver today and giving the hay rides at the Winterfest. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, driving the farm tractor with the hay wagon in the back. Hopefully doing it all day, although this is my 2nd ride today. It's a little slow start with the weather. Just going up the road to the golf course, turning around, and then coming right back down again. So it's a short ride, but everyone seems to enjoy it, so it's fun.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And you have a partner here with you?
Yeah, that's my partner, Joe.
Yep. I'm helping them in the back. I'm loading people on and answering any questions they have and making sure they're safe.
What kind of questions are they asking today?
Nothing yet, but like I'm getting prepared for the questions, like, you know, how many turkeys there are and stuff like that.
And do you know the answer to that question?
I do know the answer to that question.
How many?
500.
Wow. Okay. Is that the most they usually have here?
That's the usual number of turkeys they have. So yeah, right now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. It looks like over there that you have a tractor trailer full of people ready for a hayride, and we'll let you go back there.
Awesome.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
With Devin at Winterfest, and are you enjoying yourself, Devin?
Yeah, I am.
What's the best part about it?
Having the hot chocolate.
Oh, that's one of your favorites?
Yeah.
And now what are you up to?
We're probably gonna roast marshmallows.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let you roast your marshmallows.
Okay, thanks.
We're having a wonderful day here at Outpost.
Is this your first time here?
No, we've been here before. This is Logan's 2nd time.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
He's enjoying himself.
Oh yeah, he's gonna grow up and drive one of these someday, I think.
From the Heartbeat of Holliston, here's a toast to Winterfest 2018.
The event was for the benefit of the Friends of the Holliston Rail Trail.
Another spring tradition is the wearing of the green at the Mayor's St. Patrick's Day breakfast. P.J. Kilkelly's family and volunteers cooked a full Irish breakfast for a room full of people who came to eat and to hear clever roasts of our local dignitaries.
This is Deborah Moore for the Heartbeat of Holliston, and we're at the St. Patrick's Day brunch and roast at the Lutheran Church. We're hoping it's going to be quite a fundraiser, as it has been in the last several years. We're here today with Bobby Blair at the St. Patrick's Day brunch and roast. Can you tell us how this all started, Bobby?
I came up with a grand idea, I don't know how many years ago. This is actually the 4th annual, although there was a 5th, but we can't call it a 5th. We didn't have it in a row. The first one was at the high school cafeteria maybe 10 years ago. And it's basically a fundraiser.
And what's it a fundraiser for? Tell us about that.
This year, we're splitting the proceeds between the community farm and Holliston and Bloom for all the good work they do and the money they need.
Do you have a list of who's going to be roasted today?
I never know. The invitees roast whoever they'd like.
I know last year it was a who. Carolyn Dykema. She had something to say about you. She sang a song about you, and people laughed all morning.
Yeah, it was the ode to the mayor of Mudville to the tune of Jeg Clampett and the Beverly Hillbillies. And she's talented. She's a great rep, but, you know, she thought this thing up and played it through. She can't play guitar, though.
Well, we'll see what happens today. And I understand you have an auction here, a silent auction, to raise more money?
And all kinds of people have donated great things. So that'll help with the proceeds and planting flowers and sowing a field crop up at the community farm.
That's great. And who's doing all the cooking?
And Mr. Kilkelly, all the way from, well, he's been a resident of town for a number of years, but he used to be my neighbor when I had a house in Ireland, out Kinvara, out in the parish of Cornroo.
So what's on the menu?
I haven't been in I just looked briefly in the kitchen. Full Irish breakfast. PJ insisted that he have black and white pudding. It's blood pudding in Ireland, so I'll kind of skip around that for breakfast. And Irish sausages and ham and the whole lot.
I see quite a bit of Irish bread.
Irish bread, yeah.
Yeah, I know last year it was delicious, so we're hoping for that this year, and it looks like it's cooking up to be that way.
Right, and we get a big crowd coming this year.
That's great.
Be fun.
Great.
I gently rise and softly fall. Good day, enjoy being with you all. Cheers.
Well, we have the Kilkelly team here today that put on this magnificent brunch for so many people. We just want to thank you for all you've done, and we were able to get you out of the kitchen. Do you have anything you want to say to people?
I just want to wish everybody a happy St. Paddy's Day, and thank you all for coming out here. It's been a wonderful day again. Thank you to all the people that helped in the kitchen, setup crew. A great overall success. Thank you.
And thank you. This is Deborah Moore for the Heartbeat of Holliston, and happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Well, Paul, that looked like a lot of fun.
And Representative Dykema always does a good job of roasting the mayor.
Yeah?
And she did it again this year.
What did she do, sing? Did she sing?
Oh, she does poems, and she put a green wig on them and just...
I saw the wig. It was horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the food. PJ and company just does a fabulous job with everything to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and it'd be worth the money just for the food.
Oh, gosh.
But seeing our local politicians getting roasted, that's even better.
Yeah, I like Ken Sage's. He's like a stand-up comic.
Oh, yeah. He's missed his calling.
He was great. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then the YouTube videos, you got to catch those on YouTube.
Yeah.
All the roasts.
Yep.
Who took those?
I don't know. I know I did some for Holliston Reporter, but I don't know if HCAT did some.
Yeah, no, those were good. So, in any case, the event was a great success, and it donated $1,000 each to Holliston and Bloom and the community farm. So.
All right. Well, our next guest needs no introduction, so let's just say hi to Deb Moore.
Hi.
What's new at Pinecrest?
Well, we're looking to replace the railings on the deck and on the stairs, and we may be putting in some more cart paths. We were very successful last year and put in quite a few feet of cart paths, and they've made a huge difference. And there are still some holes that could use some new cart paths. So we're doing the deck first because that is a safety issue. We want to address that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to look and see what we have left for revenue and possibly do another phase of the cart paths.
So in the past, how have people been getting to some of these holes, but the cart paths were just too far away? You're cutting them closer? How does that work?
No, we had cart paths that we had put in anywhere from like 15 to 25 years ago, and now they're starting to erode a bit.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking to replace them and maybe extend them in some places where we hadn't put them before. And it helps with getting the golf carts out there earlier in the season, or if it's kind of wet. And we've kind of moved some of the cart paths to higher elevations rather than the lower elevation that they were previous when we started embarking on this big project.
I think really what I think seeing is the playability of the course is so much improved with the partnership with the management company Johnson Golf, who's been able to accomplish this work for us, and it just makes the course more playable, and then more people play it, and that means more revenue for the town.
Are you continuing your program to eliminate invasives?
Yes, we're always fighting that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the help of them, because they bought that $40,000 mower, and that was a huge investment for them. But then the program has expanded to some of their other courses, and every year they do a bit more at Pinecrest.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about one thing. I did a story recently on Holliston Reporter, basically from information you gave me about the fact that there's no smoking on town properties. And what happens apparently there at Pinecrest is people arrive and then they realize they're not allowed to smoke, so they throw the cigarette away because there's no place to put it out. And we've had a couple of fires in the mulch in the past. Has there been any talk about maybe doing something about that some way? I don't know.
Well, down in the pro shop, we have signs, no smoking signs, but I'd like to expand that up to the clubhouse area, the restaurant area, because I've found that the practice of people has been, can't smoke inside, so now we're pushing the smoking outside, and they really shouldn't be. So we need to put better signage up near the restaurant so people know where they definitely cannot smoke.
Smoking is if you have a smoking habit, you're going to smoke, or you have to smoke. Are you opposed to, say, putting the big sand ashtrays out there for people to put them out rather than sneak a smoke and throw the butt away and maybe start another fire?
Well, some of the butts have been thrown in the planters, and that's really kind of a sore spot for me because it's toxic to the plants as it's toxic to humans, and I would really like to see that practice stopped. And then it doesn't look welcoming for people to come and see the butts that are on the ground. People think they're doing a good thing by, throwing them on the ground and then stepping on them and putting them out, but it's really a litter problem.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely. Yeah, and then does that ban also extend to the driving range as well, I would think?
Well, there's really, as Paul said, there's really not to be smoking on the town property, but it's very hard to control when you have 183 acres of property. So we're kind of trying to enforce it around the clubhouse, the restaurant, the pro shop, that area. It's harder to get out, when they're on the course and people are, farther away.
So you and John have worked so hard at making the whole golf course so beautiful, and I know that he's an avid gardener, and it sounds like you have another enterprise going on. Tell us about what you're doing with HCAT.
Well, when we had America in Bloom here last year, my husband started talking to people at the symposium, and he thought, wouldn't it be great if HCAT had a garden show? And so I said to him, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, and a few other people thought it was a great idea. But he had the idea and wanted someone else to embark on this idea. So we waited and we talked about it, and I kind of picked up the bug to do it. And so now we have started to tape some shows. We're partnered with Western Nurseries. They have a lot of great seminars that are free, and they've been very good to us in letting us go up there and tape their seminars. Oh. They're very educational. They have great people that come to speak, and it was very interesting because the first show that we got to tape up there was Holliston's own Henry Pat from the Blueberry Farm. Oh, sure. So he was doing a seminar on spring pruning, and he did a great job. I can't wait until it shows on HCAT. So this new show that we have here is How Does Your Garden Grow?
Oh, I love it.
And some of the shows that we will be filming are Spring Color Blast, Vegetable Gardening for Beginners, Composting at Home, all about dahlias, and then hopefully we'll do a show on the garden tour that the Holliston Garden Club has.
Yeah, that's going to be in June.
Yeah. So I've been talking with a representative from the Garden Club, and we hope to be able to put something together to highlight the gardens that they'll have on the tour. So, you know, if people have any ideas of what they'd like to see, that would be great. Just let HCAT know. But this is an exciting endeavor, and especially with Holliston in bloom. You know, Holliston is already focused on gardens, and especially from the speaker that you had here before this evening, this is kind of like a gardening show today.
It is. Yeah, that's definitely our theme today. Yeah.
So maybe you could even include a trip to Lexington, Kentucky as one of your shows.
You never know. That's coming up in September.
That's right.
With America in Bloom.
To pay your way.
Oh. Well, be sure to watch HCAT for the first show of How Does Your Garden Grow? And at our last show, we covered the demolition of the Andrews School. And we want to report that the sign on the school was donated to the Holliston Historical Society. The spire from the top of the cupola, which is currently roosting in the mayor's driveway, will be auctioned off for the benefit of Holliston in Bloom. If you'd like another piece of Andrews School history, you can buy a brick for $20 from Bobby Blair. Contact him at mudvillemayor@gmail.com. And the word is that he's already mailed bricks from Maine to California. So there's a hot item. And don't forget, you can buy them at May 19th at the Spring Stroll, at the Blair Square Flea Market, and at the Church Green. Ray Finn loves vintage, so she started her own company, upcycling vintage clothes and creative stitching into one-of-a-kind fashions. Jasper Hill Cafe hosted a trunk show for Hogwash and Rhinestones. So let's go shopping.
It's Saturday afternoon at Jasper Hill Cafe. We're here for the Hogwash and Rhinestones Trunk Show. Let's find out what's happening. Ray, what gave you the idea to start this business?
Well, about 5 years ago, my girlfriend and I were getting together, and we're thinking that there's not enough country T-shirts, denim places around here that, aside from Nashville being the closest. We started thinking about branding and coming up with more like vintage designs, and we kind of just started with just T-shirts, and then just expanded and blossomed. And within the last 2 years, we started upcycling, which is taking old clothing and reinventing it and having it avoid landfills. So a lot of our designs are actually combinations of different clothing put together.
Did you have an experience in this before, or?
No, the creative part maybe. Just I've always been interested in art and doing something creative, but no fashion experience until by doing more than just getting an education in it.
And where did you get the name Hogwash and Rhinestones?
I'm not even sure. I know we had a bunch of things going back and forth, and then just like hogwash to me is just, you can take a little bit of hogwash and dress it up with a few rhinestones, and this is what you get.
I like it. It's fun.
Yes, that's just it. We wanted it to be fun.
That's great, yeah. So What's the best thing about having a business like this?
Freedom and just being able to be creative. And we meet so many great people because we are all over the place with our trunk shows. So we continuously meet great people, and it's nice to see how much they appreciate the hard work that we put into the designing and putting the effort that we put into each piece.
So today we're here with your son, Brady. Whose idea was this, to have you guys be on the same day with your own show?
It was actually her idea. She asked me, when was it, last week, if I could play just for a few hours and help her out. But I would love to. It's a great experience. I love all of her clothing. It's awesome.
And how would you describe your music?
It's alternative. I like a little bit of everything in my sets, like jazz, blues, country, a bunch of like Ed Sheeran and all that. Yeah.
Do you do your own compositions?
Yeah, I do. I've actually written a few songs. My album's coming out pretty soon. Still working on it, but yeah, I've started writing. It's going to be on Spotify and Apple Music, and it's going to be on SoundCloud as well.
Great. And how do we find out about where your next trunk shows are, Ray?
On our website, so www.hogwashandrhinestones.com, and it's N Rhinestones, not A-N-D. All the material you see, this is part of a skirt. So this is an old skirt that was taken apart. There was panels in a skirt.
So where do you go to thrift shops to get all this stuff?
Or clothing donations, or someone we'll pay you by the pound if you have bags of clothes too.
Oh, I love that. That's crazy.
Yeah, we do a lot of dyeing too. Yeah, we do a lot of dyeing. There's like these were white.
Oh my gosh.
They were white, and
that's
dyed
cool.
them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we screen print. So
yeah, what does that say?
Mischief and Mayhem. That's one of our T-shirts.
Oh, okay.
Mischief and Mayhem.
Yep. Cool.
Yep. This jacket, this is the same thing. So we just added some adornments to it. Kind of took an existing jacket and just we call it gussing it up. It's like salvage, you know. So we take this is from like a T-shirt, and then we hand stitch it on there. So it just and they're all one of a kind. Like then when people say like, do you have that in large? It's like no, they're all one of a kind. We can do something similar, but no two are ever the same.
And that's what. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to hearing your music, and I'm looking forward to shopping for your clothes.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
For Heartbeat of Holliston, this is Chryso, Lawless.
We just received word that there'll be another trunk show on Saturday, April 21st at Jasper Hill from 2 to 5. Ray's slogan is "No Threads Left Behind." Visit her website at www.hogwashandrhinestones.com.
The truth and the legend of the 1942 Coconut Grove nightclub fire was recently recounted at the Holliston Library. Author Stephanie Schorow gave a lively presentation to a packed house. She talks about interviewing and researching this tragedy, and also her love of libraries in this next segment.
At the Holliston Public Library tonight, we'll be meeting author Stephanie Schorow, who will be presenting her book about the Coconut Grove nightclub fire. Much has been written about the Coconut Grove fire. What made you want to write this book?
Well, I am very interested in Boston history, and I'm very interested in history that really has an impact on people's lives, and I really backed into the Coconut Grove story. I was asked to do a book on fires in Boston, so I was looking around for the many fires that have had shaped the city, like there was a famous fire of 1872 that had a big impact in the city. And I had known about the Coconut Grove. It's hard not to live in Boston and not know about it. But I think when I started looking into it, it just kind of hooked me. It kind of kept me going. And that's because it was it was horrendous, but also it was very mysterious. And it had such an impact on people. And there were so many lives that intersected there, so many little dramas, so many little stories that came out of it. And it was just something that once you get started in it, it's just hard to stop. And I just kept going and going and researching it.
A lot of your research, you were very fortunate. You got to actually speak to some of the survivors. What was that like?
interviewing the survivors is a challenge because you have to get them to relive a very traumatic event in their life. You have to keep steering them toward finishing the story and not getting sidetracked. And you have to be compassionate. And you have to go with what they're saying. Memories are very odd things. So someone will remember and saying, I was down in the Melody Lounge. And you know that's not possible because it wasn't around then, but you have to go with it. You have to try to tease out as much as you can from what they're saying. Most of the people have, when I talked to them, had processed it. It was not something like they'd start crying. I mean, I've interviewed people who've started to cry. In this case, people had processed it, and yet I was pushing them to dig as deep as they could to go back and really remember details, what it looked like, what it smelled like, how were they feeling, because that's the kind of details that you need in a story like this. And it's often painful to get them out of people, but it's necessary for your narrative.
What's the legacy of this fire that you found?
I think the legacy of this fire is that we need to continue to pay attention to safety rules and conditions and zoning and all those rules that make our life kind of miserable but save our lives as well. So it's something where we have to be aware that there are rules that, however onerous, financially problematic, or difficult to enforce, we've got to enforce them. And, for example, occupancy levels in clubs. Yeah, everyone wants to get in the club. Everyone wants to pack everybody in. And sure, 90% of the time it's going to be fine, but 10% of the time it won't be. The other thing is that we have to continually push owners of people who have a place of public access to keep doors open, to not lock. There have been many nightclub fires where people have died because owners kept doors locked. They didn't want people running out. They didn't want people sneaking in. And I can understand that from a financial point of view, but from a safety point of view, it's unforgivable.
What was the most surprising thing you found in your research for this book?
I think one of the most surprising things were the lingering mysteries of the fire. You'd think that by this time it would all be settled. But the more I looked at the cause of the fire, I found a lot of disagreement, and a lot of discussion, and a lot of very unusual theories. And I found that it's not like you look back and you can kind of figure out what's happened. It really is still very mysterious how the fire started. Now, it's probably the most obvious answer is probably the correct answer, that the busboy lit a match which ignited the palm tree and it did spread. That's probably the answer. But at the same time, there's so many peculiarities about this fire, the fact that so many things didn't burn, the fact it spread so quickly. These are things that I think will continue to haunt people for many years. And that I found surprising, that there were so many mysteries still lingering.
And you came to the library tonight. Why do you go to libraries and give your speech?
Oh, I love libraries. I love going to libraries. There's nothing I like better, seriously, because you meet people who are engaged in reading. You get to hear their stories. I mean, I think I get more out of these things than they do because I get to hear their firsthand memories of some of the things that I'm writing about. And a lot of times I go there and I hear these stories and I say, where were you when I was writing my book? I wanted to put that in the book. And I also just love going to libraries. I love being surrounded by books. I love, in New England, we have such vibrant libraries with so many people who use them for so many reasons. There's kids, immigrants, older people, young people. They're amazing institutions, and I really like supporting them.
For Heartbeat of Holliston, this is Chryso, Lawless.
You can see her entire presentation on HCAT. A number of people were in the audience that have a connection to the fire, with parents or siblings who are going to go to the club that night or participated in the rescue.
And that's our show for tonight, Paul. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we liked bringing it to you. We remind viewers that you can watch Heartbeat of Holliston every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. on Channel 8 on Comcast and Channel 32 on Verizon. The show's also televised at other times. Check the HCAT schedule. There are many other ways to watch us. You can watch us on any electronic device with video on demand at www.hcattv.org and click on video to find us. We can now even stream video on your phone.
And be sure to check our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube page to join all the others who are watching Heartbeat on YouTube. If you don't get an email blast from HCAT TV, you can We send out announcements when new shows are scheduled to air. Please contact us by email at office@hcattv.org or call us at 508-429-8979. With an email blast, you'll never miss a show you want to watch. We always welcome your comments and ideas at hoh@hcattv.org. So let's close our show with Brady Wells singing one of his original songs called Alone. Good night, Chryso.
Good night, Paul. And good night, Holliston.
Sitting at the table, it's cold, wondering when you'll be home. But I need to know, how come you don't answer your phone? Let go of our love, move on from me. Maybe later in life we could be. I don't wanna let go, but I need to know if you're better off alone, if you're better off alone, if you're better off alone. After all these years I found love is not a real thing in this town. But I need to know, does your heart still make the same sound? Let go of our love, move on from me. Maybe later in life we could be. I don't wanna let go, but I need to know if you're better off alone, if you're better off alone.